Here we go. Hi guys, Chris Buckler here. I'm delighted to be joined on Estate Agency Mastery by Ali Harper. For those of you who don't know Ali, we used to work together, but more importantly is he's now about to become an icon agent with EXP. If you don't know what that means, go and look it up, but essentially world class at what he does. So Ali, thank you for joining us. We're going to shoot through the questions. Are you ready?
I was born ready, Christian.
Already, perfect. Go on, then.
I've had so many questions, so let's go.
Let's go. Right, quick game's a good game. What's your biggest estate agency failure?
Employing the wrong people when I was working in a branch. What I tried to employ too many people that were me. You know, because at the time as a branch manager, I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. So I tried to create a lot of mini me's. Big mistake.
So if you were to go back and give that Ali advice of, 7, 8, 9 years ago, what would you say?
Well, that Ali had said, recognize the weaknesses you've got in your team or your branch and fill them with the right people.
Yeah.
Because, in the early age, people watching this that worked for me 10, 15 years ago will know it was route one. Route one agency. Sell, quick, very aggressive. So I've obviously evolved over time, but yeah, just employed the wrong people. Built, we were never told what a good team looked like. Had to work out for ourselves, and it was a baptism of fire. But yeah, that's what I certainly tell myself. The branch manager was 2010, 2015 successful, but just by that was brute force, blunt trauma. Estate agency is what I would call it.
Fine, okay. So if you now then go back to the 18-year-old self, you to say, right, what advice, if you could give, whether it's to do with the estate agency, whether it's to do with just life in general, what would that be and why?
Well, looking at where I am now, I would have said, don't work for anybody. Go do it yourself.
Yeah, we'll put a little plug below, Ali. You've got that
Exp.
One. Yeah. All models are great. This is a non-model centric podcast, so
no. Genuinely, I've never. Genuinely, this is half the reason I'm doing what I'm doing now. Because I spent a lot of time trying to help people, coach people to go and, go and run their own thing. And then we actually step away from the kind of leadership or corporate-esque side of estate agency. I've never felt freer. I've never been happier. I've never been more relaxed. My work-life balance is exactly where it is. I've become a better dad. I've become a better husband to be. I've become a better person to be around because life's on my terms now. So, and it's easy to say as an 18-year-old, let's be honest, there's not many 18-year-olds with minerals to say, I'm not going to go and get a job. I'm going to go and do my own thing. But, to rephrase that, the kind of advice I give myself, find a way or find a path, find a support mechanism that will allow you to become self-employed, your own boss sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Completely agree. So the next question, Ali, we talked offline and you said, I'm not going to give them resources, I'm going to give them something else. So, but I want gold, right? So for our watchers, for our listeners that are watching right now, I said, give us a resource. And you say, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give them something else, which is advice. What would that advice be?
Just ask for the business. Ask for the business and go high in fees. It's not about how high a fee can you get. Trust me. I'll give you. I won't go off topic too much, but the reason I'm saying just ask for fees because here at the minute, my competition are coming out the gate at 800 quid, 1,500 quid flat fee. I'm achieving fees at £6,000-7,000 £7,000, and that's And the strange thing is I don't need to ask for it. It happens because I've become a recommended person in my business. So it's not like suddenly overnight everybody becomes a 10x fee earner, but it's more about what's the worst they're going to say, especially if you've been asked to go in, if you've been invited out. And I know this is a bit of a kind of swear word in the self-employed agency world, but my lead generation is poor at the minute. It's really poor because I've become incredibly fortunate that people come to me. My phone rings. Like I'll look at my diary on Monday and think, wow, it's empty. Close the business. I've got 9 vals in the diary, and they're all take-ons. So I'm going out knowing I'm the preferred guy. I'm the recommended agent. So and fees come naturally. So if I tell them what the fee is, so yes, it's not really a resource, but just ask. What's the worst they're going to say? If I've said this publicly before, if you're going to run your own business, you better back yourself anyway. This isn't a somebody hold my hand. If you need someone to hold your hand running your own business, you shouldn't really be doing it. Yes, there's support people around you. There's people that are going to help and kind of elevate you and be the catalyst to greater growth. But everybody who knows me knows that I'll back myself. I'm an arrogant bastard, really. So I'll back myself. But at the same time, just ask, what's the worst thing that's going to happen?
That's the outcut I'm going to use on the socials there when I'm looking at this episode. So there we go, right? But you did talk about, and they do this a lot. I'm not, you don't operate in Scotland, but they do this a lot in Scotland. They do 10% over home report, right? And we had a conversation offline about achieve, give me an extra 10% of whatever, achieve over ask or a guide or whatever. And I love that strategy. So simple.
But it's making a massive difference to the income.
Yeah.
Huge, because you're talking anything from £1,000 to £4,000 uplift on your already high fee. Let's be honest, the fee's already high in comparison to competition. But the example I gave to you earlier on off camera was we had a house on at 325, offers over, just sold it at 340. That's 1,500 quid on top of the fee, which is already on a high fee, 1.5% of 325. So do the maths and you can see. And that's a comparison to the competition that said, well, we'll take it on at 350 at 1,500 flat fee. So I got up at 25 grand less, sold it for 15 grand over. And it sounds really braggy, but it's not designed to be. It's more about just if you back yourself and your client's asked you out and said, I've been told, I've seen your Facebook stuff, word in the street, your face is everywhere on the boards. It's yours to lose, not yours to win.
Fine. Okay, we're going to switch gears. Not your Monday morning routine, because obviously you've got to book those 9 take-ons, but what does your morning routine look like in general?
Up at 6 to feed my daughter breakfast. Go through the admin. I'm literally at my computer while my daughter's eating breakfast, uploading photos from the previous day, sending emails, sorting out my social media. Just prep myself up because you'll know, Chris. I hate admin. I'm lazy, but I've probably done 40% of my business day by 9, half 9, as far as admin. So I'm free to just go out and just communicate with people, be on the phone, out and about, just building the business. I said earlier on about I don't really do much lead gen, but it's kind of lead gen a different way. I don't send letters out. I don't direct mail, all that jazz. I used to do it. I don't do it now. It's just about being out in the public face and taking photos of houses and stuff like that. But it's the same stuff every day. Dealing with offers, dealing with take-ons, just general stuff that keeps me relevant in the local community. And one thing I said, sorry, go
on. You just said one thing I want to re-emphasize is in a lot of the models, whether it's Exp, Keller, what North American models, right? It's lead generate before 12. And that works for some people, but for the likes of you and I, actually, because we're so, and I'll swear now because you're swearing, because we're so shy to admin. If we knock it out the way first, it allows us then to focus on being agents and growing businesses, etc., on the back end of the day. But if we don't do it at the start of the day, it's never going to get done. And that's so important. So I think you've got to adapt your day based on how you think and how your mind works, right? And what your skills are.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, listen, it's the advice I'd give myself if I wasn't a market leading agent would be completely different. My routine, I'm self-confessed, I'm lazy, really, if I'm being honest. There's more I could be doing, but it's about maintaining number one. My daily routine, my day-to-day, from the moment I wake up, the moment I go to bed, and Laurel will testify to this, I'll just pedal faster than the next guy.
Yeah. Whatever
it takes. If there will be times where I'll go door knocking, but it's not part of my routine because if I line up and said, I do door knocking on this day and this day, I don't. But if it needs must, I'm smart enough, I'm educated enough, I'm experienced enough to know I know how to pivot my business like that to make sure I remain number one in my town.
Okay. Talking of smart and pivot, moving slightly away but still close, what do you think this stage world is going to look like from a tech point of view in 5 years' time?
Scary for anyone who is not adapting right now. I genuinely feel sorry for those people sitting in a branch right now who are still doing archaic estate agency, the same estate agency I was doing back in 2006, 2007, and that's why I'm successful now, because the agents up here, my competition, are bang average that haven't evolved in 20 years. I think it's going to be, we're going to need to be faster, slicker, more agile, to be able to. And I think that a tech-powered agency or a tech-powered industry is going to put us more visible. We're going to become more visible as an industry. And there's some big stars that I guess we can talk about at a later date. But there's some big names in property that have become global superstars or national superstars through social media. And the social media we're in today will look different next year, and never mind in 5 years' time. But yeah, you got to be ready. You got to be comfortable in your own skin. Chris Watkins talks about just videos. I don't do enough videos, but I get around that by just turning on Facebook Live and just waffling garbage in the garden of the hottest house I'm selling that given week. But it needs to evolve, and I think you need to become more as an industry. We need to become more learning based, because we're going to get left behind unless we pivot quickly.
Okay, you may choose to pass this question. But what's the most important lesson you've learned in your career? Is it the hiring one, or is it you got a different one?
Just be honest. Don't blag. You'll get found out. You will get found out.
There's nothing we can say on that. Yeah. Agents fall into it. I'll just quickly tell one. Someone said to me the other day, it's really easy to remember the truth. I.e., once you start a little tale and you go off, and then you have to remember. So you're right.
Over promise and under delivering. My pitch now is listen, it's my face on the board, it's my business now. I've got nowhere to hide. Everybody knows where I live, everybody knows what house I live in this village. So it's there's nowhere to hide. So if I get it wrong, I'll be the first one to admit it. So yeah. I'd rather just put my heart in my sleeve and say, if I cock this up, it's on me, not on you.
Okay, nice. All right, we've got a speedy back for you, speedy back 9. What's your favorite productivity hack for estate and letting agents?
Productivity.
Let me rephrase that. When you have so much to do because you're taking on those 9, etc., how do you make sure you get everything done and then be present as a father in the evening? What's
going to make me the most money? Yeah. What's the dollar productive activity I could do now?
Yeah,
that's it. If it's not going to make my money, I've bin it off. Cannot wait. That's just the solution. Me. If this is going to get me paid, I'm doing it. If it's not, someone else can do it, or I'll get left in the scrapboard floor.
Fine. Okay. Listen, I like it. Direct. What's one book you'd recommend to the audience and why?
I'm not a big reader. Is Harry still in the boat?
We'll pass forward that question because I'll come on the podcast in a minute. The best agent in the world to follow on social media?
Daniel Daggers. Hands down.
Yeah.
Can't be.
We'll get him on. What's one question, Ali, I've not asked you that should have done and you want to share with the audience? And it can't be what's the growth share at EXP like? If that's where your head was going, I think it might have been.
Have I got a vacancy in my team for you? Yes, Chris. I'll employ you tomorrow. You can be my leaflet distributor.
I'll be up for that.
I can't think of a question, mate, because there's not much you haven't asked me over the years anyway. So I can't think of a question you haven't asked me.
Fine. Where, if people want to get in contact, if people want to follow you, where would you tell them to go?
Facebook page. Also Harper. I'll tell you exactly what it is.
We'll put it in the show notes. But
also Harper is covering Bentley surrounding areas.
Yeah, I've seen that one. I've seen it with the yellow coming soon, and it's really good. It's really, really nice. So there we go. You got a compliment from me. Final question: who else should I have on this podcast, and why?
Okay, so whilst I talked about Daniel Daggers, listen, with all due respect, he's probably not going to come on this.
I mean, we can edit that out. I reckon he'll come on episode like 50.
No, on a serious note, you may already have these people lined up. You want to be speaking to people like Ellie Osborne, Don Marcel, Grant Bates. I think Grant Bates is doing a fantastic thing, especially when it comes to your question about pivoting and tech-led. Grant Bates is doing a phenomenal job on social media. I think he's got a lot to, it'd be interesting to know how he gets his listings. Obviously his videos, but Grant Bates is a good guy. Don Marcel, Ellie Osborne. Who else is doing big things? I'm trying to think that people that aren't Keller Williams and that aren't EXP.
Well, do you know what? Have a think. We'll put it in the show notes. I'm going to leave you with this. Can you tell me an estate agency joke?
I wouldn't say the first thing that came to mind. No. An estate agency joke is I could name someone who shouldn't be an estate agent. I won't say that because that's really not very PC.
I think I might know who you mean as well, but there we go.
A TV program, I think, but never mind.
There we go. Well, on that note, Ali, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We'll make sure that we put everything in the show notes. Thank you so much for your time, and look forward to catching you soon. If I don't speak to you before, good luck with the wedding.
Thanks, bud. See you later.
Bye-bye.